Hello, my name is Alun. My pronouns are he, him, and today I'm facilitating the final session in a series of Fate of the Quadrant. This is my Fate hack inspired by Modiphius' Star Trek Adventures. I think probably today we open with a montage of hospital science, lots of people working to help people who have gone down with this infection. And then over the top of that, we get our opening log entry from our chief medical officer, Hugh Andish.
Yeah. Chief Medical Officer's log, stardate 48580.6. We've made some progress slowing down the rate of infection across the colony, but the presence of Borg-like nanites inside the pathogenic cells indicates it's adaptive and may not only be able to adapt to our countermeasures, but also jump species boundaries. Furthermore, there are cultural factors at play here that may complicate our course of action.
I like that. Let me ask. Yeah, Keenec knows the Bajorans. Keenec, just give me a sense of what we might see in this montage of a colony of tens of thousands of people now under quarantine. But there is some tension, I think, between Cardassian and Bajoran colonists. Give me something that might show that on screen. Oh, you are muted.
I think there is a very big difference in that, as we've seen before in Star Trek, that the Bajorans fall back on close family ties and ritual and those kinds of ceremonies and things when they're worried, invocations and things like that. And Cardassians have the state as their religion. So even I think the Cardassians that are here are like maybe flustered in the face of that, and really, much more talking to one another as their kind of ritual. And so I think it's creating a real insularity between the two halves of the community. We see those montages of how the different groups are interacting, and perhaps a little bit of like, not contempt, but just like not understanding that that's how the other people are getting through this.
Yeah, these colonists may have been living together for a decade, and these Cardassians may have come here because they were not in favor of what the Union was doing. But there are still some deep-seated cultural ties, cultural approaches, as you outlined. Let me go next to Lieutenant 733T. You are our freed Borg. And I'm wondering who you want to have a scene with, just to express a view on the fact that Borg-like nanites have been found to be, in effect, engineering this infection on the fly.
I think with my roommate Keenec, Lieutenant Keenec, the contents of this infection contains Borg-like nanites. As you well know, the Borg are technologically far superior to the Federation, the Cardassians, or any other species in this quadrant. As such, it may be hard to purge this infection from the planet. We may have to start working on another fallback.
Borg as a whole are superior, but this is a piece isolated, and it's a piece that's been modified from what you said by other tools that they can't fully comprehend the Borg tech. That's our edge, that this is a hodgepodge, that someone has mucked with it without understanding. We're going to find the weakness in this, and we're going to do that because you have an understanding of these things. This this is a medical problem, but this is also an engineering problem.
Definitely, because it is based on Borg nanites. We may get to the stage, though, if we cannot contain it, we may have to consider other options. Hopefully, that will not be the case.
And I put
all
the
the faith.
pause. What do you mean by other options?
We may have to go beyond quarantine of the planet.
I think that hangs there in the air.
And cut. Hugo Sharp, Chief Medical Officer. What do we see you doing now? You know, are you back at? Are you in a research lab that they've set up, or are you, you know, being forced to put some actual kind of patient-facing work out, given the strain on the system?
Yeah, I think I'm spreading myself way too thin, like trying to do both things, both caring for the patients and doing triage and all of that, and trying to do the research, and also think like acting as an advisor to the there was some sort of council, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to
There's
like
there's a colony leadership council. Yes.
yeah, trying to keep in touch with them so that I can make sure that they have the latest information so that they can make the correct decisions. Yeah.
73T, let me ask you, you managed to kind of break the spread of the various technical difficulties the colony has been experiencing, which allowed a colony. It's not a tight quarantine, but people are being encouraged to you know, to isolate themselves unless they are key workers. That pause, you notice, is beginning to break down. You're beginning to see the same kind of technical glitches that began to happen when you first approached the planet. What do we see you doing, or what do you want to do about that?
I think I'll contact the sort of tech hub and tell them that they probably need to stop the spread of it, start cutting their network shares, and if it gets too bad, I shall have to go back to the hub to assist them. But in the meantime, they can do some tasks to sort of limit the spread of it. That's, you know, while it's electronic, it is a computer virus, so they should take the same measures that they're taking for people, like quarantine systems. Yeah, so I'll tell them just to keep me abreast of the situation, but that's where they really need to be putting their effort to stop the spread throughout their own system.
Okay, I'm gonna put a clock in called technical quarantine, and I'm gonna put a 4 o'clock on that, and I'm gonna mark 1 with that instruction. This will begin to make it more difficult to achieve tasks using technology, be it medical or other. And then finally, Keenec, what about you? It looks like 733T. Oh, can you put your character names up just while
thank you.
I remember? I'm curious. 733T, it seems, is going to be focused on the pathogen and those Borg-like nanites. I'm wondering where maybe Keenec sees his priority.
So one of the things that conversation I just had has made me think of is that we've talked about the Borg being collective, and it's not just that these nanites are changing in one place, but they're clearly some communication subspace or whatnot. So I want to think about building a viral communicator, a device that can communicate down at the viral nanite level. So perhaps with Dr. Sharp instructing on like what needs to be passed to these nanites, how we need to change them, that 733T can communicate and maybe change the path of the pathogen. So that's what I'm working on building.
That's very interesting. So in effect, try to build tools to begin to, sounds like almost reprogram the nanites.
Yeah, but more, we saw before, and I was present when 733T linked up with those 6 Borg. So
Yeah,
Hugo Sharp was there as well, is sort of in the aftermath. And using that model, can I create a communicator that allows 733T to speak to the nanites in the same way?
So I've added an aspect more Borg networking model, but obviously there are no invokes on that. That will cost to invoke it. But you do have that kind of understanding that there are frequencies, there are communication means that 733T still possesses, which could allow him to communicate with other Borg, and it's a long shot, but it might be worth a try. I do want to cut back to the ship for a moment, and work out who's playing who on the bridge. Because at the moment, we've got our Chief of Operations, Senior Science Officer, and Chief Medic Officer on the ground. We've got Captain Prel, with probably Lieutenant Keenec as his acting second in command. Adey was on the planet, and we don't know what's happened to her yet. We've got, it looks like, a science officer. So I'm just curious whether
and Chief Chu.
Oh, and Chief Chu. There you go. Is that a big enough range for the 3 of you to choose from, or does anybody want to create a different quick character?
I haven't had a chance to play Ensign Stavrik. I just created her, but we haven't had to. So I like the idea that she's had to step up into the role because she's the one that has the best sort of cultural analysis combined with science.
Yeah, I get that. So given she's a science officer, all she has to declare is +4 SciMed now. The 2 and the 1 that would follow up on that can be deployed when you need them. So you don't have to make decisions in advance. We've got an energetic half Einar science officer, specialist in cultural analysis. Great. Determined to fit in, fine, that works. And sensitivity, fine. And then you have a specialism stunt again that you can define when you need it. Then Chief Chu is currently has all of his skills declared, but we don't have a species stunt for Chief Chu. So if I reveal the hidden, what have I done with it? It's in here somewhere. Background. If somebody wants to take Chief Chu and declare a species stunt for him, that would be fine and dandy. So we've got Lowell's going to play Ensign Stavrik. I guess it's a toss-up then between Anders and Paul, who wants to take Chief Chu and who wants to take Ensign Keenec. Anders, do you have a view?
No strong preference. I played Keenec before. I can do that again.
Yeah.
No expert on Andorians, but
yeah, I've played Chu before, so that works well.
Cool.
Okay. So that is our bridge crew at this point. And I think on the bridge, we've got our science officer. Oh no, maybe it's Chief Chu, actually. Chief Chu is getting calls from Captain Haskell. That we know Captain Haskell from a previous series. We thought he was cashiered. He described himself as Starfleet retired. He's now captaining a merchant trader, and he, you know, Chew, you're getting endless hails saying, you know, I'm on the clock here. I need to get to the planet. I need to get the stuff for my. Need to get my cargo offloaded. I need to get the new cargo loaded, and I need to get away from here. Why can't I travel?
Civilian captain, stand down. You are now under Starfleet quarantine measures. You are not to approach the planet, and you are not to leave orbit.
Damn it, Prel, is this you? Is this because of what happened? Jeez. Haskell out.
That's him dealt with.
Tvilic, what do we, or does somebody want to play Captain Prel at this point, our rotating captain? I'm just curious what Prel's reaction was, and I'll ask Tvilic if I don't have anybody else.
I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't seen the captain on screen a lot, so I'm not sure. I know he's kind of grumpy, but that's about it.
I think actually we see Prel both like keeping his mouth set, and then, you know, once that exchange is done, and he's overheard, he hasn't been on screen, like he's deliberately not being on screen with him. He's just like, I'll be in my ready room. And Tvilic, you have the con.
Fine. So Tvilic again in charge of the starship, the USS Montgomery. Let's cut back to the planet then to get on with what I think is probably our significant plot. The fact that our B plot appears to involve 2 NPCs. Let's not worry about that for now. How do we start then? Because I've got a couple of clocks in place in terms of the pathogen. I've made the steps of dealing with it now 10 steps, because you have to deal with the Borg nanite-ness of it, which is going to be a challenge. So who wants to make a start on this process?
I can do that. I think connecting to what Keenec has started working on, trying to figure out how the nanites act, like what their priorities seem to be.
So are all 3 of you together at this point then, working on this? Yeah, okay.
That was the room where we finished.
Fine. Then I think, just as you know, we come in and when you're having this conversation, and then there's the screen on the wall lights up, but of course it's a different shape screen because this is a Bajoran screen. And Dr. Goyat, Kor Goyat, the Cardassian doctor that's been working hard on this, appears and says, Dr. Sharp, could you come to admissions, please? Please, it's quite urgent.
Yes, of course. Keenec 733, please continue. I will be back as soon as I can.
And I guess we cut to admissions as you arrive at admissions, where again there's a bio bed, and on the bio bed is Adey, unconscious, down with the infection. And Goyat says to you, I thought you would want to know that your colleague appears to be succumbing.
Has this been confirmed? We're sure it's not something else?
Oh no, we're getting very good at that triage now, Doctor. You know, anybody who doesn't you know show on our tests doesn't get near this facility. Anything else that people are coming down with, we're just putting into bed at home.
Yes, thank you. Well, we must quarantine the lieutenant immediately if the nanites have or if the pathogen has started jumping species, then this could escalate. very quickly.
I need out of game to just remind you that she is Bajoran.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah. Then I think his reaction would be quite different. Yeah, more caring about the person than the situation. Oof. There's no inner conflict move here because I would need that.
Well. I mean, tell me about the conflict and see if I can help you with that.
Because here it's between she's just any other patient, and this is my friend and colleague who I've worked with closely, and I need to make sure that they're okay.
And what would making sure they were okay, what would that look like in your mind? So how might this conflict play out?
That would be like not going back to Keenec and 733T and working on that, and just staying with Adey and like taking over her care instead of the people who should be doing it.
Well, I am prepared to compel. In a crisis, a good ship works like an ER, in which you are the captain. So I am prepared to give you a fate point to leave this kind of airy-fairy science stuff to Keenec and 733T while you supervise the care of Adey.
Yeah.
Would you like to take that fate point?
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to need all the fate points we can get. So I trust they can make some progress without me, and I'll take that fate point.
And I guess that back in that room with Keenec and 733T, you know, we just come to you after Hugo Sharp just clicks off the monitor saying, you know, I need to stay here. Adey's has gone down with a disease. I'm going to stay here. Keenec, you're looking worried.
Must be pretty bad if he's staying out there. Let's get back to this project.
Indeed, but yes, be mindful of our colleagues. What can I do to assist?
Well, now before we get there, that's quite a humane response from 733T, given what we've often been used to. You know, I'm looking at those aspects. Battle-hardened human engineering officer freed from the Borg. I think I'm prepared to compel you to take a very different approach to we need to be mindful of our colleagues, because that strikes me as a bit odd for 733T. Or do you want to hold to that and give me a fate point?
No, I'll take the compel then.
So how does that play out then?
If he dies, Keenec, he dies. Clearly saving tens of thousands of Bajorans and Cardassians must mean more than saving somebody we work with.
And I stop you and I say, I don't think that's something you should say out loud. I have to respect the judgment of our medical officer. There must be some reason. I mean, Adey said that, I mean, her misguided justification for coming was that it would provide a patient starting from fresh from the infections, and Hugo has that now. Let us hope that is why he is staying there, for that reason.
Yes, hopefully that's true.
But in the meantime, what steps do we see you taking to on this route, this inquiry, Keenec? Because it's your idea. This, I'm just curious what we see now.
So what we are building, you know, this would be an extended task in Star Trek Adventures, but I think we are like the first thing that we have to build is a model, and then we've got to synthesize that, and then we've got to connect 733T up to it. So I think right now we're kind of building the model based on what we know of the disease and what we know of the Borg communications and all of that.
The way I think I'll do this is that 10-step clock deal with its Borg-like nanites. What we're going to have is a series of tasks across time that will erode that clock.
Okay.
And it may, as it goes, generate some other mechanical advantages that at the end of that, maybe you can actually try it. So let's start with that kind of modeling process then, Keenec. What do you? That sounds like science to me.
Yeah, I think it's science for the first attempt, and then engineering for the actual building. Does that seem fair, Paul? So if 733T assists me, then I will begin my modeling. This is something I'm good at.
This is really cutting edge stuff. So the difficulty here is 10. We're not messing about.
Okay. So let me, Lord Almighty, where's the roller? There's safety links. Where's the roller?
It's right at the top, row 3. On safety and links.
It would help if I had scrolled up. That would be one of the reasons why that did not work. Okay.
The tension of not having Hugo Sharp in the room is clearly telling on Keenec.
Sweat bees. So right now we are starting with our roll. We've got a couple of things to play off of, aspects in the room. So let's begin with this. So that is right now, before I do anything else, that's a 6.
Wow, right.
So let's
723T. You're in
7 with 733Ts. Yeah. Let's spend one of my fate points to start with the Maker-cation Science Officer. So that'll take us to a 9. And then let's spend medical lab coordination.
Yeah.
And that'll take us to an 11.
Success by 1. I will mark 1 off the clock.
Okay. Then let's do this. Okay, we'll save on that. I'm going to mark a stress for another level, another point.
Okay.
And then I think I'm going to use that working quarantine that's on the table to bump it up another 2.
Fine. So I think that gets us to
4.
4. Yeah.
4 shifts.
Okay, so let me mark 4 shifts on the way to deal with its Borg-like nanites. Okay. So Hugo, back to you in the the hospital wing, run the research area of this. What are we seeing you doing? You are muted. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking for a moment. Yeah, Hugo is, I think, like getting in everyone's way, disrupting the regular workings of the whole, well, not the whole hospital, right? But at least his general vicinity, because he's completely focused on Adey and doesn't really he's completely dropped like everything else. So people are coming up to him because they need his decisions, and he's just shooing them away and just ordering more tests and treatments for Adey.
And then the one of the nurses comes to you and says, I know that she's a friend of yours, Doctor. What do you want us to do with her personal effects? Normally we wouldn't be worrying about it, but I'm struck by the fact that you're here.
What do you mean? Just leave them here nearby. She'll be fine soon.
Okay, and she puts down, the uniform and Type 1 phaser and tricorder and communicator, on top. 733T. Keenec is busy modeling. What are you going to do until he finishes with his modeling?
I want to build a mini sort of infection model. Something.
Oh, Paul, you do not sound well.
No, I'm not too well. So Keenec can use that to speed up his testing.
I think it's difficult for you to get into that until, because time is going to pass before he's done his bit of that. There is a window here if you want to spend some time thinking about the technical issues, because I am about to increase that technical quarantine to 2, which means all technical difficulties are going to go up by 2, including your efforts to model, build, change, etc. I just don't want you to forget that, because that's going to become 4.
Yeah, well,
right?
let's try and slow that down then.
Okay, so how do we see you getting engaged with the technical issue? Because I think we'll see probably Varek Nemel, the colony technical director, this Cardassian Bajoran dual heritage guy, coming up on the screen saying, we're beginning we're beginning to lose more and more of the system. We're trying to quarantine it, but it seems to be jumping. It's not behaving like a virus, like a typical virus.
Well, I think this is actually when I end this call with this guy and then wander down to the medical labs data conduit and sever that.
Ooh.
So cut this building off from the rest of the system.
Okay. You're good at, again, that's going to help. It won't spread this your way. You'll be stuck at -2 or 2 more difficulty. But I think I do need you to roll for that, just in case something unpleasant happens as a consequence. So this sounds like an engineering. It doesn't sound like a difficult engineering, so I think difficulty is 3. Turning things off is generally speaking, particularly if you just hack through them. But so difficulty is 3.
Okay, let's get that roller up. Here we go. -3, +4 minus another 3. So at -2. Let us spend a fate point, because tech will overcome any problem.
It will.
And that gets us, and I'll spend, I think we'll see some sort of like electrical arcing, and I'll take some electrical damage. We're now on +1.
Okay, and you're marking that as stress.
Yeah.
You achieve your goal, fine. You've isolated the medical facilities, both the treatment and research. So anybody working there is going to be stuck at this -2 on whatever they're doing. And then let's cut back to the bridge, where again, Chief Chew, a shuttle has departed from from Haskell's ship. And rather cunningly, he's departed in a way that puts his ship between you and the shuttle. What do you report to Villic, who has the con?
Is the shuttle heading towards the surface or away
Yes.
from the planet?
Yes.
To Villic, the merchant trader has deployed a shuttle, and it's being shielded by the merchant trader itself en route to the planet. They have been informed that working quarantine is in place, and they are now going against the captain's orders.
Can we intercept, perhaps with the tractor beam?
The merchant trader is in the way. We could possibly deploy. Are any of the shuttlecraft armed?
Yes, your Type 9s are armed.
Yes, we could deploy a Type 9 shuttle to intercept.
I would rather not fire on a friendly vessel, but we should at least inform them that
That they have been informed that quarantine's in place. He has clearly gone against.
I meant we should warn them that we are aware of their activities and that we are considering stronger options.
We can fire a shot across the main trader's bows, or maybe disable their shields if the shields up.
We could start by talking to them.
Cut to the science station for a conductor sensor scan, I think, Ensign. Oh, hang on. Let me give you your actions. Oops, daisy. There we go. Action station is now live. Oh, you are muted.
I will conduct a sensor sweep.
Okay, so you sense us to overcome 2, +2 per situation aspect. Are you scanning? You're scanning the. You want to know what's going on the trader or with the shuttle?
I want to know if they're doing anything besides, like, are they raising their shields?
Okay,
anything?
Fine.
Oh, the classic stuff.
2.
So that is a so 3. So I've got a 1. So I will spend one of her fate points.
Okay.
To take that to a 3 total, with a couple shifts of additional effect.
Fine. And yes, shields have gone up. And Captain Haskell is just broadcasting sound only, saying, I'm afraid that I cannot accept restraint of trade at this time. I will collect my cargo and then be on my way.
I would like to ask to compel Villic, because Villic had a bad experience with this unpleasant captain before. So I would like Villic, if you would perhaps escalate the situation.
Because you are very eager, and you've gone from acting security chief to second in command, and currently you have the con. So it does seem to me that Villic could well have a fate point if he escalates the situation. You need to tell me how.
Absolutely. Captain Haskell, I'm sure you're aware that you are in breach of regulation 37.b subsection 2. If you do not immediately recall your shuttle, we will be forced to take drastic measures, and this is when he orders a shot across the bow.
I'm not going to make you roll short across the brow. I think, you know, the phaser or photon torpedo.
Phaser.
And there's and has to come back saying, this is insane, Prel. What are you playing at, man? Nothing that this is far more than what sits between us. And then there's a kind of we seem to be having some difficulty. It looks like our shuttle is out of control. It's in uncontrolled descent. I cannot order it back. Sensors, science, what's your
I will
take on this?
check to see if that is in fact the case, if they have been infected by the virus that we know is present on the planet, given that we've been relaying. So that is a 3.
Like, yeah, I think that sounds like analyze an unknown phenomenon here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To find out. Yeah.
So
and I will tell you something as well as giving you the advantage.
okay.
I don't care what you roll. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with the
It
shuttle.
is behaving erratically.
Yeah. Tivilik, there's nothing. Commander Tivilik, there's nothing wrong with the shuttle according to our sensors.
And it's not even heading towards the kind of port, the ground port, the colony ground port.
Yeah, their destination is not what was stated. There's something else happening.
Very well. Give me an intercept solution. We want to stop them from reaching the planet without harming the crew, if possible.
Okay.
A guided photon torpedo could do that, Commander.
I mean, photon torpedoes they have a firing solution. They go zoom, zoom. So you'll need to maneuver to get a shot, I think. We now have an NPC sitting. Let me just close up some of Vassal stuff. We have an NPC operating helm as we speak. So this is about, I think, attack pattern. When you maneuver to put your ship at a combat advantage, use engines versus 2 plus target's engines to create an advantage. Con is 3 for an NPC. The ship's engines are currently, they are 3. Sorry, they haven't. We've not returned the ship to normal functioning after its brush with the space amoeba. So
right.
So there is no bonus here for our NPC helm officer. Tivilik commands, get me a firing solution, and the Montgomery begins to maneuver. Who would like to make the roll then of 3 versus 2 plus 2 per situation aspect, which I think is that you're trying to get a solution on a small object beginning to enter atmosphere. So difficulty is 4. Who wants to make this roll?
Chu, do you want to do that?
Will do.
For the maneuver.
Flat on the dice.
That is -1 currently there. So that would be fail, and the GM says how things get complicated, or succeed, but they get a free invoke on a possibly modified aspect.
Can we spend a fate point?
Anybody can spend a fate point to invoke anything about the ship. So
where's the ships?
Way up at the top there. Ship's profile, experimental refit. Oh, and sorry, the mission aspect is now save the Bajoran colony.
Where are we looking for all this?
Column A of the crew and ship. Is there some experimental system here that that you could invoke that would help?
Yeah, well, we got experimental engines. They've been modified over time. So
They have. You keep tinkering with them, 733T.
yeah.
So
So that allows us to get round this ship.
Who wants to spend that fate point? Because it has to be one of you.
I think Chew.
Chew, fine. And so that turns failure into success. You now have the advantage. I have a line of fire. ... So Tvilic, the Montgomery is maneuvering surprisingly quickly using its impulse engines, these experimental systems, to get around the merchant ship, and the shuttle is in atmosphere.
So can we, because the goal was to disable it or capture it without destroying it. So if that's possible, then we should go.
Bottom line would be you will need to get down towards atmosphere to use a tractor beam, because it's a close range kind of thing.
Yeah. Engage engines, deploy firing solution, ready tractor beam.
Okay. Tractor beam. Again, we have a +3 NPC running. No, we have, I mean, Tvilic, I'm sure Tvilic at this point will leap from the captain's chair, adopt the tactical station, and do his thing, because there is somewhere down there. That would be phasers are locked. It's the same. Difficulty. So weapons to attack versus 2 plus the target structure. 2. I mean, the structure of this thing is like 1, so it's not difficult, but it is now in atmosphere and you're at the edge of range. So I think it's 2, 4, 5. Difficulty is 5 to get a transport, to get a lock with your beam.
We're using our weapons.
Yes.
Is marked as currently 2 from a base of 3.
Oh, it should be. Sorry, I thought I'd updated. I brought them all back up.
Okay. So
no,
it should.
there you
So
are. It should be 3.
Oh, let's see what the dice say.
3 versus 5.
But
Failing by 2.
Dice, I will invoke. I read about this sort of thing because, of course, Tvilic is fully up to date on the manuals for the experimental components and the tractor beam and that sort of thing.
Fine. That turns into success. You have a lock on the shuttle, and you are moving it back towards you. Ensign, I noticed you said maintaining scans on Haskell ship in case this is a distraction.
Yes.
Yeah.
In particular, I am ready to deploy neutrino beams to intercept transporters.
His shields are up, so
Okay.
so you should be okay as long as. But you know, he's a cunning devil, Haskell, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's making clear that the other thing we're going to do is because they can detect our sensor sweeps, that we are scanning and locking on to their warp nacelles.
Okay. And I guess that as the shuttle comes up again, Haskell is hailing. Damn it, Prel! And it is a distraction, Keenec, Ensign. Would you run a sensor scan for me, or just run? No, just science versus 3.
So that is a 6.
Success with style. They, in all of that toing and froing and all that activity, The ship sent a tight beam subspace communication into the void.
Can we intercept?
You have a
Not
boost
to stop it, but to like get what the communication
something of it.
is.
If you spend the boost now, I'll just tell you something about it.
I will spend that boost.
There is, it's beamed into Breen space, which isn't far from here, if you remember.
Tabilik, Commander, we probably should inform the captain. Haskell has sent a tight beam transmission into Breen space, which seems unusual given the whole Dominion aspect we've heard about earlier.
Yes, that's highly alarming. And I think to like thinks for a moment, like, do I really need to tell the captain about this, or can I just keep going? But I think he realizes that now there are things at play that are, well, at least slightly above his pay grade. So think he will call the captain on his communicator.
There's no response.
Ensign, will you go tell the captain? I need to oversee things here.
I will go to the climb up to the captain's ready room and hit the
No response.
medical override, captain's quarters, authorization, trembling voice, Stavrik.
The door opens and the captain is prone, face down on the floor.
Medical emergency medical transport from captain's ready room to med bay.
We see the captain just disappear from his ready room.
Slide down the ladder. Tabilik, you have the con. Captain's out.
What do you mean out?
Collapsed. I call for emergency medical transport. It's your ship.
Right.
Let's cut at that point and go to commercial break. We go to commercial break. It is just towards 5 to the hour. Shall we be back in our seats at 5 past the hour?
Sounds great.
I'll see you then. So yeah, we come back then to find 733T and Keenec reacting to the fact that Tabilik has told them that he is now in command of the Montgomery. And so it's that reaction shot. Tabilik's in charge of the Montgomery? What's the conversation between Keenec and 733T at that point?
I see. Well, he handled himself admirably during the space amoeba incident, so.
And a slightly more martial character than the captain. So I expect some decisive, firm reactions.
The smack of firm leadership. So I think
there is a pause though that I do say, I think that makes you acting first officer, 733T.
Possibly, but we're here on a task. The ship should manage itself. I can't take any action from down here. And maybe like yourself, my fellow roommate, we seem to have been overlooked on many occasion when it should have fallen to us.
Let's see if we can figure this out.
Mm.
Oh, you go on.
I see. Here's the other variable we need to add into our analysis and calculations. What if Haskell is involved with whatever is happening down here?
Quite possibly. Maybe Tvilic should take some preemptive action against the merchant ship. If it has truly sent some information to Breen space, I think under the laws of war, it could be considered a hostile entity now. Or at least
I
a team of
just want to
Marines.
stress at this point, the Federation is not at war with anyone.
We just
I
have
think under some
ongoing
sort of
skirmishes
spying
with the
thing,
Breen.
sharing state secrets, we could have him on that.
Breen privateers, the scourge of this part of the sector.
Endangering standard commercial shipping. I think that is a punishable offence. Maybe Tvilic should board his craft with some Marines.
I think that's a very interesting thought. Maybe we should concentrate. I think I kind of try to draw us back to the analysis. Okay, sappers go first. Yeah, let's work on this, huh? I've got the model done. Now we've got to build it, and this is where I have to turn to you.
Let's do it.
I'm going to cut back to the ship because I think we do need to know after that scene what it is that Tvilic's going to do.
Yeah, being do we have the capacity to at least send messages to like Federation command or something, even if I assume it takes some time to
no, subspace, I think subspace is a lot quicker than it used to be. So if you wanted to get in touch with Commander Latal at Outpost Gamma 7, who is the closest you have to a Federation coordination in this bit of the sector, then fine.
Yeah, I think, and this is where I think, because to me, you who are more familiar with Star Trek may have a different view on this. To me, it feels like we're in a situation where we have merchants who's possibly communicating with hostiles. It feels like we're kind of stepping into more of the realm of diplomacy, where maybe a single ship commander needs to defer, but maybe not.
Let's cut to the briefing room with Tvilic in the chair and Ensign Stavrek and Chief Chew as his senior staff officers having this conversation. Let's have that conversation.
Cool.
Ensign Tvilic, I've gone over the records of what occurred with his court-martial. He endangered your ship and attempted to have a prisoner murdered to cover up his actions in some sort of like betraying his first officer on a previous mission. Just saying, sir, the analysis says that Captain Haskell is not a good person.
Sadly, I don't believe being a less than stellar example of Federation ideals is enough to warrant direct action. But I share your views on I share your analysis. Chief Chew.
Oh, you are muted.
We can easily overcome his shields. So overcome his shields and then board the merchant. His crew is very low. A team of Marines could easily overcome.
You don't have any Marines. You just have a relatively stretched security team.
Stretch doing what?
I can't remember. There was something they were doing, weren't they? Didn't we have stretch?
Well, I
security team
thought we
last
got
time?
rid of everybody that was on board, didn't we?
Oh, you did. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I take it back. So you have security team 2.
Beam over security team, taken by force.
I think we should at least give him the opportunity to surrender before we employ direct force. However, I do think that we need to take action. Unless someone thinks we should communicate with High Command first.
My feeling is that reply would not get back quick enough.
You can always disable their engines.
That sounds prudent. Yes, let's get back to the bridge.
Back to the bridge.
Yeah, and I think the order of operations here is target their engines, but don't fire. Send a message to Haskell that due to your breach of, and here we'll use the quarantine protocol again. You are ordered to surrender immediately. Prepare to be boarded. And if he doesn't immediately accept that, then we will fire on his head.
So I think this has to be one of those tense, Tvilic standing in front of the screen. Haskell is on the main view screen. What are you talking about? And he kind of peers at you, Lieutenant. Where's Prel?
That is none of your concern, Captain. Do you surrender, lower your shields, and prepare to be boarded, or you will be fired upon?
Have you mutinied? Are you out of your mind, Lieutenant? Do you know who you're talking to? I have more years of experience in the captain's chair than you have had in Starfleet.
And you are currently not commanding or holding any position in Starfleet. You are being ordered to accept boarding. Do you accept?
I would like to hear the charges that would allow you to board an independent merchant trader registered outside the Federation. That, I think, Lieutenant, is called piracy.
He's stalling, Captain. We need to take action now.
He is kind of Chief Chew, level-headed. What he's doing here is he is bullying you with regulations. He's testing how much you know. So I think this comes down to a command versus command, Tvilic. His command is 4.
Yeah.
Because he is a thoroughly experienced Starfleet captain. So can you maintain the status quo before you have to kind of cede some ground here?
I will try, but my command is 0. So.
Oh my. Is there anyone else on the bridge at this point with any command that could offer?
I will set my command at 2. And I want to check something before we go any further, because we can get one stunt, right?
You can get a species stunt and a what do you call it? A specialism stunt. So this will be a science stunt and an ANAR stunt. I think you've chosen the ANAR one.
Okay.
Let me just reveal the stunts. I think I tucked them away.
I
thinking,
just did.
Oh, you did. Great. Thank you.
Then I think coordinate their effort is going to be my other stunt.
Okay.
Which means that I can spend a fate point, and we've decided that it actually is higher than the +2 to assist there. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Copy that.
Cool.
So I'm going to essentially, I'm pulling up like the like list. I think Captain Chu and I are like pulling up all the regs and popping them on the lower part of the screen.
Yeah.
Like
Stavrik desperately typing in, now say this.
Yeah. So I will spend a fate point and give you a +3.
Okay.
We'll roll the dice.
That is 3 versus 4 then.
-2
that is
on the dice.
That's 1 versus 4. We're at -3 currently.
Well,
and of course, this may just be that you have to say you have to come up with some bluff that then you cut the hail and do something else.
Yeah,
Vivilic has fate points.
Sorry.
So you have fate points, and so does Chu.
Yeah, that's true. I will spend 1 for.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 because I care heavily for my friends, and it's my friends on the planet that he's endangering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will spend 1 for. I read about this sort of thing, like catching immediately. You're just throwing up the headers for the regulations, and I know them. I know enough about them to like fill in the blank.
Yeah. Once the prompts come up, you're fine. So that turns failure into success. And he says, Haskell out and moves to break orbit.
Well, then we fire.
Oh, so do you want to maneuver before that? Because there is a way to gain an advantage using Helm. I've added an NPC ensign to the very end of the sporting characters. And they have the option to attack Pattern X. When you maneuver to put your ship at a combat advantage, use engines versus 2 plus target's engines to create the advantage. All yours tactical.
Sure. Who wants to take care of that?
I think that's back to Chu, isn't it? Because he has a con.
Yeah, con. Go for it, Chu. You're rolling as an NPC, so that's +3 versus they are only 2 plus 2 to 4. So engine 3 versus 4. Oh, 4 versus 4. We're on a tie.
Success at a minor narrative cost. I'll tell you what. I'll pay in a point of stress. Success.
Okay, so success. You create the advantage. Over to you, tactical. Tactical advantage. 1 free invoke. There we go. So we've maneuvered. Lowell, do you want to press the phaser?
Oh no, I think that's Tvilic. Tvilic's the tactical person.
Oh, Tvilic. So Tvilic, tell me what I think the suggestion was you're going to target their engines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Preventing them from going to warp is the primary concern.
Okay.
So are we doing this? What's the distance?
So you are at close range, so you're 1 away, so its phasers are locked. So your engines within 1 zone. To attack versus 2 plus the structure is 2. I don't think there are any situational aspects. Shields, their shields are at 3. So versus 4. 3 weapons versus 4.
Roll the dice and see where we end up. Flat on the dice.
Okay, so that's 3 versus 4. We're at -1 at this point. So you need to get at least 3.
Well, we
We've
can
got
spend
an
the tactical
advantage.
advantage.
Spend the
Yeah.
tactical advantage. Yeah. So that gets from -1 to +1. So at that point, you're going to knock their shields down from 3 to 1, 3 to 2, but you still won't get to the engines. Any options?
Think I'll spend my last fate point for the eager Andorian acting security chief.
Shields are down, but no harm to the engines yet. Any suggestions?
Fire a torpedo.
No, you're firing phasers. What I want to know is there any way to enhance that phaser shot so you do some
Can I
damage?
can I spend a fate point on our mission aspect?
Well, you can.
Oh, yeah.
So I will do my last fate point, save the Bajorian colony. I think that this person is involved with this, so I'm going to spend that last fate point.
Fine. What do we? You spent the fate point, Ensign. Do you want to tell me what that looks like when?
I think it's that targeting, and I think they've got it's like one of those merchants with like the 2 like smaller nacelles on it, and I think there's that shot of the and we got a practical model, and we see the port side. It's not port. The side nacelle just go out.
Fine.
Port and starboard.
And they go to impulse and try to reestablish orbit. Let's cut back to the planet, because I think it's time we moved on to the next step in our effort to combat this difficulty. But 733T, you are getting alarming messages now from the technical hub around the fact that systems across the colony going down. Transport is being hit. People are struggling to get casualties to the hospital, infected to the hospital. You've saved the hospital and the research, but the colony is going to hell in a handbasket out there.
On Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is the air breathable? Is the temperature temperate? And do they have stored food and water?
Yes.
Then they can wait. They can wait quite a lot longer. Then doesn't concern me.
Okay. You're fixed at 2, but the colony is going downhill fast at this point, I think.
Let's get this thing built.
Indeed.
So let's go ahead, get this thing built. This sounds like more engineering, doesn't it? Because you need to synthesize something now. Yeah. So engineering, difficulty is 10. No, difficulty is 8 now. 8. Each one gets
733T. I will spend a fate point to give you a +3.
Wow.
Very well. I've got a good pool of fate points as well. So let's see what we get. Let's build this. +1. So that's good. We're at least in the
5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. So 5, 6 with the assistance, and then another 3. Or is the assistance is worth 3? Is it?
Yeah.
8. So we're evens anyway. But I need to. So what's the clock at?
Exceed that.
What's the clock at?
Is currently at 4. 4 on the way to 10.
So let's spend 2 fate points. Let's have. I am an engineer, so clearly I can do that better. And let's invoke medical lab coordination. It's still an advantage. There's no free things, but I can still invoke it.
Yeah.
So that's
That
we're
gets you
at
to
12
+4,
now.
I think. No, I think you're at 4. Yes, you are. You're at 12, which is I will mark another 4 on the clock, taking us round to 8 out of 10. The next step is you've modeled them. You've synthesized a mechanism to, inverted commas, talk to them. The next question is, can you then integrate 733T? But sharp, I'm curious about, you are seeing people now turning up at admissions, just carrying people because their vehicles are breaking down. There are people out there who cannot get to hospital.
Yeah, I think while all this has been going on, I think Hugo has at some point just collapsed in a chair and like been asleep for a couple of hours. Now he's waking up again, and I think he's kind of reorienting a bit, just making sure that Adey hasn't gotten drastically worse. And then he
Oh, I
will.
mean, all the indicators are lower now than they were when last we saw Adey. So,
Yeah.
they were up here. Now they're going.
Yeah. But it's within like the normal
Within tolerance.
So I think he will try to like pass off care of Adey to the regular staff and try to like reassess what's the situation. What should I be doing?
Okay. I'm not going to make you ask. I'm not going to make you roll for that. I think that it's fairly clear. Unless you can get the transport infrastructure up and running again, there are people who are going to die because they can't get medical treatment. So either you need to shift the emphasis from the medical center and start sending people out into the colony, or somebody needs to sort the transport infrastructure.
I think the former in that case, try to organize probably just sending out as few people from the medical center as possible and try to organize, like contact the council and have them help organize civilians who are civilian volunteers who can help with transport or set up like local facilities where that is feasible.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the table the working quarantine now, because I think that's breaking down. As people get sick, people are just leaving their homes with the sick. So let me just update that. Whoops, lazy. Oh, that seemed odd. Let me just see if I can get that to work. There we go. So we've got thanks, Doc. We've got working quarantine is gone. Medical lab coordination is still there. Patient 0 is still there. I'm not sure there's anything else currently in play. So I have to say, 733T, you are getting repeated calls for help from Nemec. He's concerned that there is something odd going on here. They keep flushing antiviral attack code into their systems, and it's as though this computer virus is adapting to defeat the defenses.
It will adapt. That's
Yeah,
what
do
it's
we
designed to
about
do.
it? People are dying out there, Lieutenant.
More people will die if we don't get a cure for the virus.
I'm going to up the technical quarantine to a 4. Technical quarantine is gone. There is now just a free-for-all out there in terms of the technology. Every man for himself. Keenec.
Okay. We need Sharp in here, and we need to hook you up to this device. And I'll buzz Sharp. I say, Dr. Sharp, we need you here now.
And I think you also need an experimental subject, surely.
And I need you to bring Lieutenant Adey.
Yes, of course. I'll be there.
And I guess that's also the point, Sharp, at which you discover that one of the medical staff that came down with you has gone down with the condition, as has one of the engineers that 733T brought down with them. It seems to have begun to jump species boundaries. So there we have the three of you huddled over Adey in the lab. Let's cut back to the bridge. What's been going on the bridge in the interim? Tavilik?
Yeah, we've disabled their
You have.
engines. We've taken out their shields, so send the boarding party.
Okay. So what? Send your security team to kind of secure the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to
Resisting
security team.
the desire to lead it himself. He would like to, but he's in the chair now.
Stavrek, would you conduct a sensor scan for me, please?
Absolutely.
2 versus 2.
So that is a 5 total.
Success with style. So what I can tell you is that there are you are scanning, you're getting 2 incoming warp signatures. And I'm going to tell you here we go. Okay, so currently, if I go to the tactical screen, tactical display, you have an unknown ship 2 zones out.
Okay.
You have 3 shifts of effect on that sensor scan. You can either use those shifts of effect as a boost to actions taken by the bridge crew, or you can spend them 1-to-1 to have picked them up earlier and to have pushed that ship up to 2 further away.
And actually, I have an additional shift of effect because of the science being higher than sensors. So I will spend 1 to push it away, and I'll leave the other 2 for boosts for the bridge crew.
Fine.
2 incoming ships, sir.
And the first one to come out is a Breen frigate. What a joy.
Yeah. We'll also, of course, in the interim between, we've alerted Starbase.
Outpost 7.
Yeah, Outpost 7.
What do you mean you fired on Captain Haskell?
He was in breach of quarantine and refused to surrender to boarding.
Lieutenant, why am I talking to you and not to Captain Prel?
Captain Prel
Sorry,
is...
Commander Prel.
Commander Prel is indisposed. He's in sickbay. I haven't heard any details yet.
And he's appointed you as his first officer.
First officer is down on the surface. So I'm afraid I'm here.
Latal out.
Well, when these Breen show up, it's red alert and hail them.
Okay. Now let me just. What have I done with my Breen? Okay. This is Akched Sar. of the Pleshtal. What are you doing outside Federation boundaries, Montgomery?
We
yeah.
are assisting the colony here with a medical emergency.
Actor Shah out.
I think we've also probably broadcast, like there's a quarantine broadcast on Subspace to Alert. So they know that we've set up the official quarantine.
Scan them.
They're incoming.
They're incoming. I've added the Breen. I'll put them down near the characters, near crew and ship. I've added the Breen, a Pleshtal frigate, and a Sarthelm cruiser. I'm using this. Oh, hang on. Maybe I can use that illustration. Then I can have two different ones. Oh, wow. That's a very big image. It will work. There we go. There they are on the tactical display. So yeah, you have their statistics available to them. That is what your I'll pop that back in there. That is what your computer can throw up with respect to the frigate and the cruiser. This is quite a little task force.
Are they military ships?
They are.
Then we need to inform the starbase that the Breen have entered space with military ships rather than privateers.
Well, sorry, right. I thought you meant, are they warships? They are privateers. They are broadcasting.
A cruiser as a cruiser is a very large ship.
They are. But it must be said that the Breen never admit to responsibility on the actions of their privateers. Old Romulan proverb, it say, never turn back on Breen.
Captain, we're outnumbered and outgunned. I would suggest we flee.
We can't abandon the colony and a crew below.
I doubt that the Bree are here to attack them.
I wouldn't be so sure. If they're in league with Haskell and he has something going on here, it's quite possible that they are. We need to contact. What was the outpost?
Outpost 7 and ask for reinforcements.
Yeah.
That they are days away.
Yeah, but we at least need to let them know what our situation. And I don't think that's a long conversation. I think that's just Breen privateers, a frigate and a cruiser, possibly hostile.
Let's cut back to the planet at that moment, where work is proceeding to try to allow 733T to somehow communicate with these Borg-like nanites infecting Adey, or the inside the pathogens infecting Adey. Yeah. So, what does this look like? Is this a medical task? Is this a science task? Is this an engineering task? It sounds science medical rather than engineering, because it's about, coming up with a theory to do this, isn't it?
Hugo, you have to lead us on this.
Very well. We have the pattern of the infection. You have constructed this apparatus for communicating. We need to try it. We can't wait.
Are you ready, 733T?
Ready.
Okay. Difficulty is 6.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to roll the dice and then we'll see where we end up, I think.
Okay. Oh, -4.
I am going to spend the fate point on a reroll. That can't be helped any other way. And I think this is just idealistic human chief medical officer, curious about how the universe works, like pulling on his knowledge from various disciplines, his superficial knowledge, but still he has some
it's
idea.
still there. And go for it. Yeah. Oh, I don't believe it. The same die roll twice. We're at -4. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So that wipes out the medical. That's 0 versus 6 is -6.
I will spend a fate point to give you +3.
Ooh, right. -3.
-3. Do we have any? We don't have any free invoke, right?
I've got no fate points.
We are at that place where Fail the GM says how things get complicated, or they may offer success at a major narrative cost.
I will spend the fate point.
Nobody interested in a major narrative cost?
Can we concede?
You can't really, because you're not technically under attack.
Okay. Ooh.
I'll spend a fate point for.
I mean, when I think about it, Paul, yes, you could concede, couldn't you? You could concede the challenge, so you could fail, just simple fail, and each of you would get a fate point for conceding.
We're going to fail anyway, so you might as well concede.
Well, I mean,
mathematically we can't get there. So
you haven't got enough. There's no fate.
We haven't got enough, so it's better to concede.
We can with stress, and Hugo has 3 fate points left.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he spent 2.
I spent 1 so far.
Yeah,
and I had 4 because I was compelled earlier.
So right now we're 3 down. You said?
Yeah,
-3. Yeah.
So I will spend a fate point for youngest CMO in the fleet.
If anybody could do this, you can, Hugo.
Yeah.
So that's -1.
Can you get another reroll?
You could get another reroll on that. Yeah. I mean, what's the chance of?
True, but it's also risky.
Yeah, but -4. It's going to cost. It's going to cost at least 2 fate points to get to 0.
Spending for the +2
right.
So you sit on that collaborate.
We had to reverse the whatever.
No, now that's wrong.
No, that's wrong. No, I refuse to accept that. Roll those dice again. I refuse to believe that this is throwing up 1 and 5, a -4.
Is there a history tab?
Oh no, I don't think there is on a visual.
No, not on the visual one.
Because that
seems wrong.
It's not even a mix of different dice. It just seems to be saying the same dice. That's the probability is ridiculously.
Yeah. So hit refresh on the thing first.
Yeah. I'll refresh the reload.
Because not even I think that's fair. I used to be called ruleful evil.
So extremely unlikely. Okay, I'm re-rolling again.
There you go.
That's better.
Okay. So let's start again.
So now, I have 4. We have +3 from Keenec. That puts us at 7 versus the 6.
So that's already 1 eroded. And you are looking. Where am I? Where's my ship's log? There we are. You are looking for only 2. So there's one of them away. Can you find me another 1 or 2?
Stress.
Yeah. I'll spend stress. How much do I need to spend to get there?
1.
1.
Just
Yeah.
one to get there, 2 to exceed.
I will spend 2.
No, you spend 1. I'm going to spend 2, and I'm going to transfer some of my nanites to Adey. So basically, it's like injecting him with a vaccine, so they can go into combat against them.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, you take some stress instead then, and almost immediately, the biobed on which Adey has been wheeled in, this kind of mobile one, begins to beep.
So how much above were we the rock? Because we took it well beyond it.
You took it 1 beyond with that stress spend.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have 73T. You are able to communicate with these nanites and have a level of control over them. And you begin to pick up comms from them, and it's slightly overwhelming in the first instance. Maybe that's where that stress came from, because you are getting, tiny pings of connectivity from all across the colony, from all across Adey. But you're getting pings, a concentrated ping, from somewhere in the city.
Keenec, we have found the control point. It's in the city.
You keep communicating. Sharp, you're with me.
And I will
Yes.
tell you before we take another commercial break, because I think we have to on this one, say, and you're also getting pings from every piece of technology in the building.
Everything's infected.
Indeed. That. Go to commercial break. It is 48 minutes past the hour now. Shall we be back in our seats at 5-2?
Sure.
Back from our last commercial break, after in this finale of our series of Fate of the Quadrant, and I think we left it on 733T, now able to communicate with these Borg-like nanites and identifying a dense signal. A lot of nanite comms are coming from somewhere in the city. What happens next, 733T?
Well, I'll turn to my colleagues and say we can either pursue the problem in the city, or we work on because we've still got some of the clock, haven't we, to clear?
No, I think the clock is clear.
No, there's another clock.
Oh, there is another clock, but to be honest, now that you understand that this is not just a biological problem, there are also Borg-like nanites in the tech. So you have the same solution that will apply to both.
Well, let's cry havoc and let leash the dogs of war. Let's find the source and destroy the head of the Hydra.
So I think there's a brief scene with Nemec taking a sample from 733T, and you saying, all you need to synthesize more of these, and then apply them as a vaccination in effect to any people that are sick, and also begin to introduce them into your technical systems, and then that will begin to have an effect. Yeah. Leaving you to think about what you do next. So 733T, sappers lead the way. Take a fate point for your let's unleash the dogs of war. Keenec, what about you?
I'm updating the ship as we're running.
Fine. Sharp, what about you?
I mean, we all have to go, right? That's how this works.
Yeah, otherwise you can't possibly succeed unless you're all on the spot. Indeed. So yeah, I think that we see you running through the city. You know, and you know, there are people slumped on the side, but probably we see some medical teams beginning to emerge to treat people where they've fallen over. But I feel if you're talking to the bridge, I think we're obliged to cut to the bridge to discover what's going on up there, because you have an option on the bridge. You can take a preparatory action for each zone that they close. So these Breen ships are closing from where they were to where they are now. So they're just 2 zones out. But each of you gets the option to take an action if you want to. So let me start with Chief Chew. Is there anything Chew wants to do in preparation for the arrival of these Breen within range?
Yeah, let's charge the phaser capacitors.
Create an advantage, I think.
Indeed.
Engineering, I don't think this is difficult. I think difficulty is 3.
He's got quite a good engineering skill. I think he's
Yeah, no, everybody gets a, you know, which all the supplementary characters get a 4 in their core.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
That's 7 versus 3, success with style. So would you like to put charged phaser capacitors with 2 free invokes? What about Ensign Starek? Am I saying that right? No, hang on. Stavrek.
I want to use the computer systems to calculate essentially set of algorithms for the con to use, essentially that we will keep Haskell's ship between the Breen and ourselves at we're going to use the Breen, the Haskell ship if they want to fire at us, and we're going to stay real close. Like I'm calculating the safety tolerances on that with the science.
Yeah. Attack pattern Stavrek Alpha 1.
Yes. So let me roll. So that is a 4.
Sorry, so difficulty would be 3. So 4 versus 3 is success. So we have attack pattern Stavrek Alpha 1 goes into the system. You know, you can't believe that that Tavilic is allowing you just to do that, to name it and everything. That's not the kind of thing that they told you at the academy would happen. Tavilic, is there an advantage you're looking to create at this point?
Yeah, I've just looked through my stunts and I have optimizing shields. That sounds like a thing that's appropriate at this time.
Okay, let's have a look at that one.
So it's computers against 2 plus their weapon.
Indeed. So difficulty of 2 plus the attacker's weapons. I'll take the most potent weapons. Oh, they're both 3. So it's versus 3, and it's your computers, which I think are 3.
It's versus 5, right? It's 2 plus the attacker's weapon.
Yes, sorry, difficulty is 5. Yeah.
My honesty, but you know, I will roll the dice. That's -3 on the dice. I am not going to do anything about that because I have no fate points. So.
Well, I mean, there is fail, and the GM says how things get complicated, or succeed, but they get a free invoke on a possibly modified.
I don't know. What do you guys think, Paul, Lowell?
Pardon?
fail,
Well-
and the GM says how things get complicated, or succeed, but they get a free invoke on a possibly modified aspect.
Well, it is succeed. So you would do what you're saying to do.
Yeah.
They would get a free invoke against that. So it would only level flat anyway, because you'd still get what you were aiming to do, which is it a boost? What is it? What was the actual aim of the roll?
To create the advantage, shields optimized.
Let's see. Also, I think my security is higher than our shields, right?
Aha!
So I get
Yeah,
plus
that'll
1 shield
raise
for that.
the result.
That will raise the game. If you can just get to success, though. That's the trouble.
Oh, we need to get to success for that to happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
that bonus
Stress is
helps.
king. Stress.
yeah. I mean, how much we're
You new to this captain game. This is getting to you.
yeah. How far behind were we?
I think you're at -3 currently.
So 3 stress, is that enough?
That would get you to a tie. It would be fail, but you do get a boost. You have to get +1.
That's 4 stress.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Oh no! In fact, you've got boatloads of stress. You're
Yeah.
better than most.
I'll do it. I'll do it. 4 stress.
And that gives you shields optimized with 1 free invoke. There we go. So we have three of these advantages in place on the bridge. Let's cut back down to the planet. Having seen all that activity. Oh, Paul, you've just gone horribly out of focus. It's like,
I'll fix that.
I mean, it's like one of the founders has turned up.
Yeah.
So, oh, there you go. So let's cut down to the planet where go on, Keenec.
I think we actually get 2 on shields optimized because of the 2 shifts of result means that he beat it by 1.
You do.
2, so it's 2.
Yeah, well,
Unless you want to take
spotted.
less stress.
No, because then it'd be a tie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
Well,
it
let's
kind of
take
goes
it.
whoosh.
Okay.
No, well spotted. Thank you.
You just succeed.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we see you running through the city, heading towards, it becomes apparent, where the colony ships at the center of the city first put down. So 733T, you have got this sense, you're getting this increasingly strong signal, yeah? Keenec, what, if anything, are you doing as you follow 733T as she bounds through the city?
I think I'm just trying to keep up. Like I literally think like I normally be scanning and stuff, but I think that 733T is probably like significantly more physically fit and stronger than I am, and I am just trying to stay in pace.
Yeah, I mean, the only physical fitness stat in this is security. So yeah, 733T is the fittest, enhanced by those remaining Borg implants. Hugo, do we see you do anything as we head through the city?
Same. I think maybe I don't think I'm very good at this either, but like just being fairly young, he's reasonably able to keep up.
Yeah.
But I think that's
I
about
think
it.
that's fine. Fine. I was just checking. Yeah, we got type 1 phasers, communicators, and tricorders with you. So yeah, you are approaching this. It becomes clear that the source of this intense signaling 733T is the Cardassian colony ship.
And I'll quickly turn to Keenec and Hugo and say, the Cardassian ship, that is the source of the problem.
You're gonna assign blame later. Let's deal with it now.
Agreed.
Breach.
Prepare to breach.
Let's cut back to the bridge, where Acted Shah on board the frigate hails you and says, we intend to beam to the planet. Please do not interfere.
Captain, the planet's under quarantine.
Do they reply to that?
Do not interfere, says the universal translator. And they are closing to, well, I think probably I think that's the way we'll play this. I think we'll play it that the frigate is closing to close range while the cruiser hangs off. When they enter the same zone as you, they will be able to transport.
Yeah, so we're not in Federation space, right?
You're not.
We are in Bajoran space, though, and we've been requested to be here.
Yeah.
We've been given authority to establish quarantine.
Yeah.
They are privateers as well. They're
Yeah.
not part of any official navy.
Mm-hmm. We will reply.
That was
We
a
are
very
maintaining-
level-headed comment, Chief. Would you like to take a fate point?
I will. Do I have any? Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's handy.
Captain, permission to begin jamming transporter frequencies.
Go ahead. Captain, we are maintaining a quarantine of this colony requested by the Bajorans. If you breach this quarantine, we will be forced to take action.
We go to comms and transporter, which sits on Chew's console. When there's an obstacle to using subspace, or when you want to restrict a target's ability to do the same, use comms to overcome 2+2 per situational aspect. The GM says irrelevant, plus target comms. The comms of the Pleshtal is 3. I don't think there's anything else at play, so it's 2+3. Difficulty is 5, Chew.
I will assist.
Oh, yes. Assist or collaborate.
Just assist. I don't have any points left.
Right. If you could engineer a bit of a compel here, remember, Stavrek, I'm very keen to give you the option.
Not yet, but I may spend stress if we need to.
Okay, fine.
I mean, I've got fate points. It'll all go well anyway.
Yeah.
I'm confident.
Okay, so it's your comms versus
Maybe
5.
not confident that much.
That's a -4 on the dice.
Well, I'm going to spend a fate point to re-roll that.
Okay.
Everybody here needs to survive. Our team on the ground, so I take care of my friends.
And you do indeed. So, that's not.
Well, that's a lot better. Let's take that. So we're starting at -1. Plus my skills are at +3.
Plus my assist is another +1.
+4 against your 5.
-1.
I will spend a point of stress. Oh, actually, no. Let's spend that last fate point. Let's +2 that because I'm the level-headed transport chief.
You are.
I know all about systems.
You do.
And we're trying to stop we're trying to stop them transporting.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to do.
You are.
So +1.
+1. If is your engineering, does it exceed ship's comms?
My engineering is 4.
Yeah. So you get +1 shift of effect. So that's to the good. So that +1 goes to +2. Can't quite get to +3. C'est la vie.
I'll mark a point of stress.
Ooh, went the crowd. And you have jammed their transporter signal. Acted Shah hails. That was ill-advised, Federation starship. Was Tavilla going to say something then to him?
Yeah, as we have informed you, we are maintaining a quarantine by request of the Bajoran government. If you attempt to, if you make further attempts to breach, we will take action.
Ooh, ooh, went the crowd. That jam signal isn't an advantage. You have just jammed the signal. So it was an overcome, not a create advantage.
So was there any reason for Stavrik to spend stress?
Not once you got success. No,
Okay.
you're quite right. Yeah, so have that back. Sorry, missed that one. Both of the ships put up their shields. Your shields are all, you're at red alert. I'm assuming your shields now go up if they weren't up already. And the cruiser unleashes a spread of Breen torpedoes with a range of 2 zones. Use engines to defend versus 2 plus enemy weapons. Weapons are 3, so it's versus 5. Somebody needs to defend by rolling engines against 5 as your navigator does your helmet.
I will roll that.
Go ahead. You've got +3 as a skill base.
+3 as a skill. Oof. Let's invoke the attack pattern.
Fine.
To reroll. So that's a -1.
Yeah, the red one didn't move.
No, yeah, on the first roll, only one of them moved.
Weird. Okay, so let me roll the red one then.
Roll them both again. Roll them both again.
Okay.
Let's go back to status quo ante.
Yeah, now it's saying both rolls.
Yeah.
Okay. So -2 +3 is a 1.
Versus 5.
1 versus 5.
You could use attack pattern, Stavrik.
I just did to get that reroll.
Oh, we've got optimized shields.
Yeah, I think we'll spend to the optimized shields.
Okay. Reduces
which will give us
3 to
2
-1.
shifts.
Gets down to -1. That means that shields will take 1 hit.
Okay, we'll take the 1 hit on the shields.
Yeah. Okay. So tactical reports. Oh, it's already marked. There we are. Shields
Got it.
75%, Captain. What is your response to this, Montgomery?
Well, they have opened the hostilities. I mean, I assume it's not. I'm trying to figure out if there is a like diplomatic solution to this still, or if this is just now we're in a fight.
I think if this was Star Trek, unless this was a named kind of repeating villain, I think that it's likely to devolve into a starship battle.
Yeah.
Of some description. But that doesn't mean you have to go that way.
You don't chat with Mike Tyson when you're in the ring.
I don't understand that, but
says 733 over comms. I mean, of course, at this point, everyone on the bridge is looking to Tavilla.
Yeah. I think we just have to answer. It's just we
Yeah, stay close to
yeah.
Haskell's ship. Make them, if they want to hit us, they're going to have to do damage to the Haskell ship. If they blow us up, they're gonna blow Haskell out of the water.
Yeah.
Attack pattern Stavrik Alpha is sitting there. It's still got its free invoke because I think you spent a fate point to invoke it last time. Or did you?
No, I spent it. I
Ah,
spent it.
Okay, okay. So, do you target the cruiser or the frigate, Captain?
Cruiser. We have to. If we can take out the cruiser, then I don't think the frigate will bother us anymore.
Okay, so that means that you either have to close with them to get within phaser range,
Or we
or
can fire
you
torpedoes,
use
right?
photon. Yeah, photon
Yeah.
torpedoes.
Yeah, torpedoes definitely.
Okay, torpedoes away, and you will find that you have a torpedoes away, Tvilic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
weapons
your weapons versus the cruiser's structure plus
+2.
2. Structure is 5. It is built like a brick outhouse. So it is versus 7. And it's
I don't
advanced
like
shields,
those
giving
odds.
6 shields.
I don't have any fate points. I have spent almost all my stress. I don't think that.
We've got the capacitor, charged phaser capacitors. We've got 2 with that.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
doesn't
sadly,
help
you're
with
firing photons.
torpedoes.
Oh, that's right.
You could close with the cruiser.
Yeah, but then we're
in-
away from Haskell's ship. Then I think we have to fire on the frigate. Because that's
Yeah.
closer, right?
Yeah, I think
We
I
can
think the
phase the
tactical
frigate.
analysis.
Yeah, and then we'll use phaser.
Okay, so structure is 4 because these Breen ships can adjust their shape to reduce the exposure of systems. I'm assuming that you're targeting their engines, but I don't know that.
I'm not sure that I think we should target weapons if we can, because even if they are immobile, we want them to leave.
That
We
makes
don't
sense.
Yeah,
want them to fight.
Fine. Yeah, a solid tactical decision from the captain's chair. So Tvilic, would you like to roll your weapons 3 against their structure of 6?
Well, like is a strong word, but I will do it. So I roll. Oh, finally, +4 on the die.
4. So I think that is 8 against 6, isn't it?
Maybe,
And if
I don't know,
security
what's the-
if security exceeds ship's weapons and you succeed, you get 1 shift of effect. So
Awesome.
that's 7, 8 against 6. No, hang on, I've lost track. 4,
Okay.
8. That's +3 you've got. Do you want to spend anything or do anything? Because at the minute that's going to take their shields down from 4 to 1.
So one use, because you can only use an aspect once, and we got 2 charged phaser capacitors. So that would take them beyond shields and go 1 into their weapons.
Yeah. That's
Oh, sorry. Are we back to phasers? I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
Yes,
this was phasers.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
phasers. Right, I need to read the right.
Yeah, that
Phasers
means I
locked.
get +2 shifts.
You get 2 shifts of effect. So you've already gone through their shields. Anything else now will do damage to what the system you've targeted.
And we still haven't used the charged phaser capacitor.
No.
So use
So
that.
if we use, because we can only use it once. Well, we can use it twice, but not in the same role.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So definitely use that.
Yes,
So-
spend that.
Spend
2
that.
damage to their weapons.
Okay, so hang on. Let me. I've eroded all their shields. Shields go to 0, and weapons go from 3 to 1. Wow.
Yeah,
This experimental Montgomery is some kind of ship.
Now, can I spend stress to assist?
Go ahead.
I will, to take that so we can take their weapons out.
Excellent.
Well, yes, you can, but I'm going to soak it up in that mild consequence as phasers. Sorry, they are disruptors.
So they're
Unstable.
disrupted.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we will be
so-
invoking that against you in a
Of
moment.
course you will. Of course you will. So that pushes weapons from 0 to 1. So I absorb 2 of the 3. Oh no, hang on, to 2, isn't it? I absorb 2 of the 3 that you would have done to take it to 0. and then that leaves me with 1 to take off my stress. So weapons are still functional, disruptors are unstable. And then, of course, the cruiser unleashes another round of photon torpedoes at your direction. So, and again, they're targeting your engines. Let me just see. They've got this interesting energy dissipation weapon. Use current shields to defend +2 versus 2 plus to ignore your shields and apply 2. Oh, yes. No, they're going to do that.
But it's only got 1 zone range.
Oh, it's only got 1 zone. Oh, no. Okay, well, they will close with you then. They will spend this turn closing with you. There we go. That's the cruiser done. Let us cut back to the surface as we see all this havoc unleashed in orbit. And probably, because it has to be kind of dusk by now, doesn't it? As you look up, we'll see the exchange of fire in orbit. And you're aboard the Cardassian ship 733T. Where are you heading? As if I didn't know.
Well, it's got to be the command room, hasn't it?
Well, it's wherever that signal's coming from.
Yeah, let's say it's the whatever the bridge is on this.
Where the intensity of that signal is coming from. And it's not the bridge, it's down in the bowels of the cargo bay.
Very well. To the cargo bay.
Yeah, what am I going to do with that ship? Yes, okay. You can hear activity as you approach the cargo bay. You know, the cargo bay doors are open and you can hear activity inside. I'm going to go to 733T because you are our point person.
Let's try and get some sort of sneaky drop on them. So
Yeah.
we want an advantage. We want to create an advantage. Stealth mode.
Yeah. Okay. Create advantage stealth mode. I think difficulty here is only 2 because I don't think they're aware of you yet. You start ahead of the game.
We haven't got much fate points between us though.
Security is the name of the game, I think, unless this is con or security. Take your pick.
I think security, but clearly I can't get my +2 phaser. That's not applicable here. I'll press the button. Has anything happened on your screen?
No.
Nope.
Let me try again. In fact, I'll just refresh it just in case.
Yeah.
Let me refresh the page. It'll ask me for my name. Okay.
I'm seeing Hugo's 5 and 1.
Yeah, that's all I'm seeing.
Yeah. There we go.
There we
4
go.
and 5.
So that's dead level. What is dead level on create an advantage?
Dead level on create an advantage is fail, but you do get a boost.
There's not much difference. A boost can only be used once, can't it?
Boost used once and it's gone. You can't.
It's gone, so it can never be reused again with fate points. No. Okay. Yeah. That sounds probably more appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that boost look like on the ground? 733T.
I think it's it was definitely stealth related. So basically, I think it's all of us sort of getting on either side of the doors and then sort of hand signals. And then we rush in, but maybe not all of us sort of get in at once, or we get in and then clearly hell unleashes.
There is I think what I will tell you is that inside there is Nemec, the technical director, is hunched over what looks like a cargo container, tinkering with some dials. That is what you see, but you do have that boost stealth. Keenec, 733T has got you here. That is what you see. Technical director Nemec. Who'd have thought it? Nemel, sorry.
Step away.
Ooh, So
Phaser leveled. Step away.
step into the doorway. Okay.
Get the jump on him.
Get the jump. Okay.
If he looks at all hostile, my temper is up such that I will fire if he looks at all like he's twitchy.
Okay. A disruptor comes up.
Boop. Or
Do
sorry.
that thing. Do that thing, please, Keenec. So this is you're attacking. So it is security. And his security is only 2.
So right now I'm at a 1. And I will spend the stealth to take that to beat him by 1.
Okay.
And
so, go on. Anything else?
I think that just to take him down because it is dramatically appropriate, I think he will get a Zotch on me. I'll save my stress, but I'm going to take that mild consequence and push it up by 2. So do 3 shifts.
3. Okay. If they could be harmed, they take effect as stress. Otherwise, treat as create, discover aspect. Was that stun, by the way, or was that?
That was stun.
Stun. Something very strange happens to Nemec. He loses definition. Like his face, his features just melt slightly before they come back. And he dives behind the container. Hugo Sharp, I've yet to ask you what you want to do. I mean, have you got a phaser? I never thought to ask. My guess is that you will have taken one now, come what may. Yeah. What do you do, Hugo?
I think I rush forward to this container he was fiddling with and try to figure out what he was doing. Like okay. I'm just assuming that 732T and Keenec will be able to hold him off.
Okay, now I will just, the door is here.
Yeah.
Where you are, all 3 of you. The canister is in this.
Oh, okay.
And he is on the other side of that cargo canister.
Oh, okay. It was that close. Yeah. Then I will.
I tell you what, Sharp. No, I tell you what, Sharp. I got something I want you to do. I want you to just see what you can make of that cargo canister. So roll medical versus 3.
Absolutely. That's -2 on the die, which gives me 2. What's the difficulty? 3?
3.
Stress maybe, or should I spend a fate? I'll spend a fate point.
Anything vaguely medical would be appropriate.
Yeah. Youngest CMO in the fleet.
Fine. That'll turn failure to success. And I will tell you that this is I'm not sure in Star Trek, well, they have stasis pods, but I think it is a life support pod.
They do have stasis pods because Khan was in one.
So he was. It's a stasis pod, but it is not a Federation stasis pod. Okay?
Yep.
That's the answer. That's what I want to give you for nothing. You get to ask me one more question with that. If you want to.
I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Or you could ask me what else you notice.
Yeah. What else do I notice?
Neither is it Cardassian nor Bajoran. Let's cut back to the bridge, where the cruiser has closed. It spent its moving. So you have initiative, Tavilic. What do you want the Montgomery to do as this cruiser closes on you?
Well, I think it's same procedure. Fire phasers on the cruiser's weapons. I
Okay.
think, or do we think is it better to hit the frigate hard?
Militarily, you got two things that are still in a position to pummel you. It would
Yeah.
be best to remove one from the field of play completely. One, it may demoralize the other one, but at least it'll only be one thing punching you in the face.
Yeah, I generally agree. It's just that we have that aspect on the frigate so I think we're at the moment we're not as threatened by that. That's just that's the only reason.
I think we got to take the frigate out.
Okay,
I'm with
then
Paul
let's do
on
that.
this.
Cool.
Okay.
Phasers
So,
again,
phasers.
I think, or is there a reason to use torpedoes at close range? There isn't, right?
You've still got a free invoke on charged phaser capacitors.
You
Yeah.
have.
So
So your
where we
phasers
haven't
still
got
have
anything
the
on
edge.
torpedoes.
Yeah, phasers.
Now,
And
Alan,
weapons
if we
again.
go all the way through their weapons, where does the damage move to next?
Oh, then take wherever you want to go.
Oh, there you
know,
go.
kind of
Civillic.
Supplementary explosions will appear.
Yeah, weapons.
Okay, so weapons, your weapons are 3, its structure is 4, plus 2 is 6. So 3 versus 6, roll the dice.
Rolling the dice. That's bad. That's -3 on the dice.
So that's
no
0
fate,
versus 6.
no fate points and not enough stress to do anything about that.
Yeah, and I think the free invoke on Disruptors Unstable will get you to -4, and
well, let's go for a reroll. I think either we fail or we don't. We've got to try the dice and spend the point to invoke for that.
high stakes play.
Can I use so I can use the free invoke for a reroll?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's better.
Yep. That's better.
Okay. So that's 4 versus 6.
4 versus 6.
We use the disruptors to get the reroll.
Yeah.
Use
We can
phaser
use
capacitors to raise that by another 2. We're now even Stevens.
You are.
Then I can spend a stress to push us into success, and then
You can.
push it for the.
Well, we're now on +1, but we get 3 shifts of effect as soon as we get 2 free shifts of effect.
Yeah.
So your 1 point of stress will take us to +1, but then it actually moves to +3 because you succeeded.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
So that reduces weapons to 0. Where do you want the remaining point of damage to go?
Quick rules question. If he did it on structure, would that make them, because you keep adding structure to difficulty, that would make them easier to club next time, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Still your choice.
Both physical and crew distraction damage.
It's still your choice, Andish, but that's the rules background. It would be easier to whack them again.
I was thinking the same thing. So yeah, let's go for structure.
Okay. So
I don't think anything else would like discourage them particularly.
So cut to scenes above the flesh tile where, Breen are being thrown about corridors as damage takes place across the ship. And then the South Elm will unleash its energy dissipation weapon at you. So use current shields. So your shields are currently 3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
to defend.
4.
We have 1 marked on shields, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I was just reading them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should have reduced that as well.
Current is 3. Yeah.
Okay. So so it is current shields defend versus 2 plus enemy weapons. Weapons is 3, so that's 2 versus 5.
Once for all this.
Well, this ought to be helm, so it's 3 plus weapons. So that's, you know, you're rolling with the NPC helm to avoid this attack. Was the chief doing that? I can't remember. Is the chief running our helm currently?
I think I did roll last time. I'm happy to pass that if anybody else wants to go down. No? Okay.
No,
I'm
I think
making
you're
lots
acting
of
helm
noise.
officer as well, chief. So that's flat of +3 for the skill of your NPC helm. That's 3 versus 5. So that is failure. They
No,
can spend
we got 2 free invokes on optimized shield, so I use one of them.
Okay.
So that's level across the board, and let's take a stress on Chew. Oh well, do we actually have the? Oh no, we do have the
Have a
NPC.
helm officer.
Yeah,
Can
he
we
can't take
spend-
stress. No, he's not a real person.
Okay, so yeah, I'll take a point of stress. That's +1.
Fine. So that gets you away from failure. They cannot, you know, dials across Chew's station go wild as you feel this go trying to drain energy from the engines. It doesn't work. Instead, you're at defend +1. You take no stress, but the NPCs gain a fate point. So the fate point I would have spent, I get back. So I'm still at 4. Let's cut back to the planet, where the setup is this strange guy. And Hugo shot him. Hugo has concluded something about the life pod. Keenec shot him. 733T. Let's come round to you. What do you do?
Do we want shoot the pod or shoot him? Hugo.
Shoot him. We don't know what happens if we shoot the pod.
Very well. Phasers, full power stun.
You could, yeah, fine. So you are, so what I think we see you doing, because he's behind this pod, I think it's going to mean that you have to maneuver. So it's going to make it slightly more difficult than it would have been. So I think difficulty is now 4 to get a clear shot at him, 733T.
No, this would be bad tactically. I will spend this turn flanking him.
Create an advantage. Fine. Roll security or con against, again, I think difficulty is just 2.
Miles.
So
I'm 7 above there.
fine. Flanked with 2 free invokes. Keenec, what about you?
I want to, like, we now know where this is, like we're getting the information out. We've got the object. So essentially I'm going to try and use my to try and reconfigure my tricorder to create a block here to shut this down.
Okay. Rocks into replicators.
Yeah.
Good old rocks into replicators. So do your thing. I think because this is unfamiliar, difficulty would be 2, but it's 2 more because it's you're not familiar with this technology.
Absolutely. So let's do that. Got that. So that is a 5 total against your 4. So success by 1.
You achieve your goal. Do you want to push that for a boost?
No, I don't have the stress to spare.
Okay. So then I come to Hugo. Hugo, you know, it's a life pod of non-standard manufacture. What do you want to do next?
Keenec seems to be on that, so
He's trying to take control of it, or to well, he's trying to take control of it. What he ends up doing with it, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. I think I want to help 733T with the blasting this person.
Is this creating an advantage to, you know, distract them so they don't notice 733T?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think this is like firing, like moving to the side, firing a couple of shots to like scare them out of cover. That's
yeah, fine. So create an advantage sounds like security. Security versus, I think, 3.
Sure. Let's roll that. -2 on the dice.
That's the equivalent of your security versus 5.
And my security is 2, so I'm at a -3.
Yeah.
You could use one of the flanks.
Oh yeah. I'll use that. That brings me to -1. I'll spend 2 stress. Let's do 2 stress.
To get success.
Yeah.
That is so flush them out with 1 free invoke. So they move, and the way you've arranged it is they move into the line of sight of 733T, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do, 733T?
Well, heavy stun.
There is something very odd about the way that this is moving. Because as it stands up, it looks like Hugo Sharp. What do you do?
Let's pick the right Hugo Sharp. The one nearest the cargo container.
I think that moment of indecision, just check, you know, just that kind of makes the difficulty 4.
So difficulty 4, I'm +1 on the dice. My skill is 3, so I'm at dead level. +2 with phases though. So I'm now at +2. Flanked +4, flush them out +6. 6 above.
6 above.
Either he's got a lot of stress boxes.
It's very odd indeed. You hit it, and it begin, you know, the shape of Hugo deforms, and this thing flows down. It is a changeling. We know that, but these characters don't.
Haven't they? But that's been established, hasn't the existence of the changeling by this point?
At this point, we only know about the founders. We don't know their changelings. The only changeling known to us is Odo at this point. The founders are the mysterious people that that seem to run the Dominion, and whether they are gods or people, nobody knows.
I broadcast on open comms, unencrypted open comms to the ship, so the Breen can pick this up.
Okay.
We have captured a shape-changing agent of the Breen. We can perhaps hand it off to them if they're willing to withdraw.
They stop firing. The frigate lowers its shields, beams up this shape-shifting alien.
Yeah, I think we'll stop the transporter block.
And they warp away from the planet. Hugo Sharp, you get to the pod, and it of course has a glass panel in the top, a see-through panel on the top. Inside is Emily Harcourt.
Don't know who that is.
Three of 9, your former patient.
Oh, right.
Who never made it back to the hospital because she was taken.
That's right. The ship was, oh, interesting.
name.
And then
That's
I
why.
think we are epiloguing our way out of this then with a couple of minutes left. So
Nice flanking there, Paul. Let me say this. One of the things I appreciate here is Paul's tactical analysis of things at all times. I just want to say that before we even get to stars and wishes.
The Ministry of Defense will be very proud of you, Paul. We are. Let's epilogue our way out. Let me start with 733T.
Well, I'm going to use the epilogue, the near term, short term, long term. So I'll take the near term, and I think this is me assisting. I'll take a little bit of agency from you here, Lowell. This is me assisting Rusu finally moving out of my room because he's achieved promotion.
Yes, I think that's totally fair.
You know, he is now a fully fledged lieutenant. There's no JG going on here, and he has earned himself. And we get to his room. I assist with him going in, and I'll turn to Keenec and said, "It was a privilege serving with you. I know a few of us are due postings, and probably on your promotion you will be leaving the Montgomery, but it was a privilege, Rusu, not just to work with you, but to bunk with you. You taught me very, very many things about many races and cultures. Thank you for that."
Do you want to respond to that, Keenec, or do you want to? Is that?
I think I say. I don't think I'm going to move on from the Montgomery because I have the feeling that there is a line to move up in this chain of command.
Quite possibly. Thank you.
Let me go next to Hugo Sharp. Anders, is this near term, medium term, or down the road? Down the road is probably series 2, so you might not want to go there, but I don't know.
I'm not sure which this is, but it's sometime later. Let's go with long term then. So this is Hugo holding a presentation for like a auditorium full of like medical personnel from Starfleet, various
I have to ask,
and...
is this far enough down the road for him to look older and be a Commodore or something, or is this?
No. It's not that far.
Okay.
So maybe this is medium. I don't know. I'm not sure what the time perspective would be. But he's holding a presentation on this pathogen and the connection to the nanites and that sort of thing. Like basically presenting the findings, whatever they managed to find out after they had stopped the plague itself.
And at the end of the presentation, an officer comes up to you and says, "My name's Sloan, Doctor. I'd be very interested to know if you'd be interested in a certain research post that I have available."
Well, let's discuss that further. I think we'll come there.
Yeah. And finally, Rusu Keenec.
I think it is me seated in the captain's ready room with the Lieutenant Dots, like we're clearly later from that. And I say, well, I understand why you didn't want to see the chief medical officer. He would have been required to report this. Your isoboramine levels are falling. You need to get back to the Trill consortium. We have time, but your host body is deteriorating. The neurotransmitters can't handle it any longer.
Well spotted, Keenec, without even recourse to a medical check. Spot on. Yeah, the captain is disillusioned because he knows he's ill. And he knows this was his last shot. That's lovely. Thank you. Quick stars and wishes. Well, roses and thorns, I suppose. But let me go around in the same order. Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame Will's not here, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Some damn good level-headedness brought by you, Lowell, with your character. Always eager to help, but a good level-headedness, and I sort of played a bit against that, but not in an antagonistic way.
It was great.
Really enjoyed gaming with you. Very enjoyable. Anders, clearly you weren't here from the start, but you really did make the medical officer more of a character than maybe we'd seen before. You're eager to dive in, not just with the quick characters, but with Hugo himself, and that was good to see. And I don't really think you're sort of, when you said you had a bit of a lacking of the Star Trek universe, I didn't really see that at all. And I think you gripped fate quite well. It's quite a hard system, I think, to learn. But mate, if I was you, I'd jump into it further because you had no problems with it in any way, shape, or form. And some great RP there. Alan, good twists, duck and dive throughout the series. Different episodes had different things. That's it for stars or roses. Yeah. Will you go around and do thorns?
I'll go around for thorns. Anders, let me go to you next. Any roses, any stars?
Yeah, this was a super fun episode. I did not think that we would be able to finish on time with all of these things going on. So kudos to you for managing the pace and to everyone for keeping it rolling. I had a lot of fun. I was a little worried jumping into Tvilek in this situation, but I think it worked out from my perspective. But I haven't seen him before, so that's always a thing. But it was fun. For the episodes I've been here, this has been a lot of fun. It's felt very Star Trek. I'm very impressed by the mechanics. Like it feel like it captures the feel very well. So big star for that. I'll stop gushing now.
Lowell, any stars? Roses,
Great,
whatever.
Great play. I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed this episode. Particularly with the back and forth. This is actually the first time I got to play a secondary character in the whole series, and that was something certainly I wanted to do, and I enjoyed that. I think that's again one of the secret sauces of Star Trek is that multiple characters. I liked having the growth of our characters as well, the back and forth over time. The developing relationship. I loved having a disease present in there, and it felt tense. Like you stuck the landing for one. Your pacing was on par. Was great. You stuck the landing, and you're much better than I am at keeping the pressure on and forcing the players to spend their resources with fate. I'm always I'm always pull back just a little. You and I have the same problem, though. I always forget to spend my GM fate points. I never do that because I'm caught up in stuff. But on the other hand, we burn through consequences and stress and fate points, and that's where we ought to be at the end of a session, is with all those boxes marked and us going, holy, because I did not see until we saw the changeling and we got them down. I was like, I didn't see our path out. And so that was good. And I had a love-hate for that captain character, so that was great. On top of my adoring all of these PCs.
I wasn't quite sure how they're going to stick the landing. Thank you very much for making the Breen an offer they couldn't refuse. because I wasn't quite certain how we're going to get away without a changeling being in custody somewhere. So that was very neat for canon and the session. I had a great time running this. I will say that I think it takes me quite a long time to get going with Fate, to get a little bit more, to push people to spend resource. If you go back to session 1, it's all very gentle. So that's partly to do with comfort, but I think there's a mutual comfort in the system. And let's go round for thorns. Paul, any thorns?
You're a good GM, Alan. I don't think Fate is the right. Fate's good, and you run good Fate game. I don't think Fate is right for this. Myself, that's just my opinion. I've played 2D20. I think for me, you've introduced clocks to sort of slow it down, but Fate, I think, is more cinematic. I'm not saying your version of Star Trek. Your version of Star Trek is a bit slower paced, and therefore that's where I think the mash between. My opinion is that Fate is sort of one roll success. Move on, and I see sort of what you've done with clocks to slow that down. But I don't think the two sort of mash. You're a damn good GM, and you know a lot about Star Trek, and you run a good Star Trek game. I just don't think Fate's the
way to do it.
Yeah, don't give up running Star Trek. That's not what I'm saying. I'll stop at that.
Andish, any thorns?
Not really. I'm trying to figure out what I think about what Paul just said.
If you think I'm full of shit, Andish, say it. I'm more than happy.
No. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think what the part of Fate that is a good fit here is that you can generally push to a success when you really need to. Like if you really need to succeed at something, you can do it, and that fits with with how Star Trek generally works. Like when things are truly on the line, they pull through. So I like that part. I feel like sometimes there was like a point where if you had, because the more you succeeded, the more ticks you got on the clock. It felt like, yeah, we pushed to a success, but we should really put in a lot more effort just to like get more ticks on the clock. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe that is a good thing or not, but it felt a little bit. Maybe it's just that I'm used to Blades in the Dark, where you have like it's not so much how you can't do that much, do as much after the roll. Maybe it's just but generally I've had a blast. It felt like Star Trek to me, so I don't have any real thoughts.
Lowell, any thoughts?
So I think there's like I get what Paul is saying. And I do think that the clocks thing often does feel like a slowdown. I think there's another way to frame that, like you're like the obstacle has aspects or like details, and then what you're doing is you're knocking those out to get to it, like to be a little more colorful on that. But that's also a challenge. I do think that Fate works well for like if you're doing Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars, it has a little more open, but I think it also works here. The one thing that always bugs me about Fate, first of all, thank you for not using Fate dice, because I hate them. So I appreciated that. I think that advancement, like that is always for me a thing where I want a little bit more. I like, but you have to have room for that, which Fate sometimes doesn't, which is why when I did our homebrew at home, it was much more because you're using a deck of cards, they were unique. You could modify little things, and so you were always adding things on, and so people got past that. I do think that the another run at those stunts. I think some of them need some number tweaks, and I think there are some room for some other ones in there. But yeah, no, I would, if somebody wanted me to run Star Trek with Fate, this would be the way I would do it, and I think it works for me.
Yeah, I mean, I take your point, Paul. I think that Fate is a natural fit for pulpy stuff.
Yeah.
Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Right.
And yeah, it was a deliberate effort to slow it down.
Yeah.
And I guess
there are better systems. Here's the thing: is there are better systems. There are some built-in assumptions in this that do work against this. In the same way that like the Mutant Year Zero system, they use that for a couple of things where it doesn't work because that game is about resource burning and cost to you. So it doesn't work in Coriolis. It doesn't work in Tales from the Loop, where that's built in. I think there's some of that here.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. This is me wanting to play Star Trek and not wanting to learn a new system from scratch.
Play more Star Trek.
Those days are gone. So I'll keep on hacking. So thank you very much. Can I post the recording?
Yes, please.
Will do. I'll stop the recording now.